Someone's audio also wasn't like it was adding extra.
All right.
I don't know which.
I guess we're live, Billy.
Hey, we're live, everyone.
So here we go. First one, the first Kayak Adventures series live stream. Okay, Wednesdays at 11 a.m. So we have to come up with, you know how every podcast has that thing or live stream that they say? So tell me if you guys, Jake and Billy, who are going to these are the hosts, everybody. You're just coming in. See, no one's in right now because when you start a live stream, no one really joins until like minutes later. So no one's in. But for people watching this back, Jake Hepner's here with me. Billy Chambers, Billy Kayaks, Illinois Yacker. Yak in or Yacker? I always forget it. Yak in, right?
Yak in.
Yak in.
I talk too much.
Yeah.
Get it? Yeah.
Man, we're off to a good dad joke start already, buddy. But we are going to be the hosts of this show. One of us will be here every week, if not all three of us. And we've got to come up with that like thing that you do at the beginning of every podcast. So tell me if you guys think this one sounds good. Ready? It's going to be stupid. I can already tell. But you know how our hashtag is Chase the Wild? So we come into the show like this. People in the comments, they're probably going to tell me if this is dumb or not. But Chase the Wild is a hashtag. So we come into the show and one of us has to do, who's ready to chase the wild? And then Billy, you throw in some sort of jungle theme, monkey, Tarzan music or something. Yeah, like that.
I don't know what the EE was.
It's a monkey. That's a monkey. But anyway, you do something like that, like who's ready, and you could say it, who's ready to chase the wild in all kinds of different ways. You could do it, subtle. You could do it loud. I don't know. Who's ready? You guys, let's workshop that. You guys in the comments, what's our introductory sort of like, every podcast has one. You guys know what I'm talking about. So anyway, that's our intro here. But let's introduce Jake real quick and Billy, and then we'll add on our other guests, and we'll get rocking and rolling with the rundown of things here. By the way, everyone, before we introduce you guys, I will say during this first live stream, I'm going to be making some comments to Jake and Billy, just because they're kind of learning the back end of the system. They're the producers, if you will, with us. So every once in a while, I am going to chime into you, Billy, say, hey, remember, just like I did, like we need a soundbite for a monkey, a Tarzan soundbite, something like that. So anyway, just disregard those comments, but Billy will make notes and we'll make this thing even better than hopefully it will be to begin with. And I see a lot of people joining us already. You guys are putting up some comments, so doing some producer duties already. So getting the hang of it. I love it. So Billy, start with you. You're from Ohio. You've done a lot of cool stuff in the kayak fishing, the local kayak fishing scene. Just real quick, tell people about you.
Yeah, Billy Chambers or Billy Kayaks, and I ran a podcast with Buckeye Kayak Fishing Trail here in Ohio. Helped run that trail for about 4 years. I do some production stuff for work full time. So I'm just really passionate about kayak angling and just getting people involved here in the local scene in Ohio. And I'm excited to, do this on a bigger scale as well. But I work with Cincinnati Kayak Fishing, and then we have a new trail, Ohio Kayak Fishing, that we're launching this year. So that's what I have going on locally. And then Kayak Adventure Series. I'm excited to make Tarzan noises.
Yeah, you did some pretty good ones. We should cut that clip. That should just be the intro. But the first time I saw Billy, one of the first times, I guess, Billy, you were at Raccoon Creek Outfitters, and you put on a joint event. I can't remember if it was with, I think it was a Buckeye event, right? It was a joint event or something with maybe Buckeye and Northeast Ohio kayak anglers. And you pulled out this like Joe Rogan podcasting set, like right after the tournament. And we're literally had a co-host and the winner of the tournament, just interviewing them right there live. And I was like, that is pretty awesome and pretty cool. So I thought it'd be great to get you involved in all this. And your like attitude is so spot on to the Kayak Adventure Series as well. And so I appreciate you and thanks for being on. And Jake, you, I think a lot of people know you already. We've been working together for a little bit doing stuff, but tell us a little bit more about yourself and then we'll get into these other guys.
Oh man. So I'm from Illinois, obviously, if you haven't figured it out. I just like kayak fishing. I got really into making kayak fishing content a couple of years ago. I primarily post on Instagram, obviously, but I mean, I fish Bassmaster tournaments. I fished some KBF back in the day, to mild success. I didn't do too bad this year, but I mean, really, I'm just like passionate about kayak fishing in general. I fish from the bank a lot too. Like, I just like fishing. Like, I mean, that's me. Like, if there's fish to be caught, I'm doing it however possible. But obviously, I prefer to do it in a kayak because I just think it's more fun. So that's kind of me. I just like sharing the journey. That's kind of my vibe. So
No, man, I love it. And we'll be doing some fishing from the bank, or I guess from the riverbed in Kayak Adventure Series, which we'll get into, since you can wade and fish as long as you stay tethered to your kayak. So let's bring in somebody else here. Let's bring in Ryan. Ryan Reed, the real yak dragger, on Instagram and other places. How you doing, man?
I am living the dream, man. I'm looking forward to eating some pizza rolls here in a little bit and chilling. So
Pizza rolls, I love it. I love it, man. It sounds like you might have a young kid if you got the pizza rolls, because we have those sometimes in the freezer as well. So
yeah, they're the easiest convenience food ever, and it's hard to not want to eat them. So
this is true. You ever get like too hot in the middle? Do you guys notice that? They'll burn. You're like always too hot. Like, what's the deal with that? I don't know.
And you know to wait, and you're looking at them and you can smell them. They smell the whole house. And then and then you pick up that first one and you eat it anyway, and it burns your tongue.
Exactly. Oh,
Every
the Wolf
time.
of Walmart. Totitos for the win. That was my favorite. Totino's was the best, man. In college, that was like $1 pizza. You just throw it in. I don't know what they cost now, but I swear they were $1 back in college. Well, Ryan, dude, good to have you, man. I think a lot of people know you got a super awesome following, a big following on Instagram. That's mostly where you post, right? Is Instagram. You do have other stuff too, but that's your main platform, would you say?
yeah. Instagram
awesome.
is definitely my main. TikTok's probably my second.
Gotcha. Yeah, Bill, you're on TikTok a good bit too. See, my wife is on TikTok all the time. I just can't find the bandwidth for like another one. But I know I probably should, move over. But by the time I do that, there's gonna be something else. So I don't know. What can you do? All right, next up here, let's go. Let's see. We got Mr. Georgia Bassmaster here. Marshall Stance.
How you guys doing? Hey.
Good, buddy. How's it going, man?
Going good. Just talking to you guys in my work truck on a little lunch break. Figured I'd hop in for a little while.
Sounds good. Well, hop out whenever you need to. We understand work is obviously more important than this, but this is more important. I mean, more fun than work. So also stay as long as you want.
Yeah.
That was a Freudian slip. Maybe it is more important.
It's more fun too. So, and more important to an extent.
That's right. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, man, and where can folks follow you and find you?
Yeah, I'm just a regular guy. Been fishing my entire life, passed down from generation to generation of anglers, and primarily used to do boat tournaments, fishing stuff like that, and fell in love with kayak fishing, chasing like multi-species, red-eye species, doing a lot of river and creek fishing. And I documented all. I'm on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and just trying to help others catch big fish and learn some things.
Awesome, man. I love your educational content. Your Georgia Bass Slam is so cool. Obviously you and I talked about this a little bit, but I grew up in that state, and it's just a cool state where you can catch, the majority of all the black bass within the state limits. And your mission to catch all the bass and educate people is something that is kind of near and dear to my heart, because I feel like people still don't really understand, some of the issues and some of the differences in the species and some of the problems we're facing, which are much bigger than we realize. But anyway, follow Georgia Bassmaster, guys. He is a really, really good follow, and look forward to seeing him at some of these tournament stops. And then last but not least, another car interviewer here, Mr. Dustoff Fishing. Brandon, what's up, man?
I apologize about the venue here, but this is the best place to get signal, so it is what it is.
Yeah, it's all good, man. Well, we can see.
Makes it more real.
That's true. It's
If I could figure out how to be fancy like you and Ryan, I could like have a picture of me holding a fish in the background or something, but I suck again.
Dude, you don't suck at all, man. You're serving, your country, and we appreciate that. And I ought to tell people a little bit about what you do, because it's pretty interesting what you do for the Army there, as you can see. And then tell us where we can follow and find you as well.
So my full-time job is I fly Blackhawks for the Army, and then I would say I'm an outdoor enthusiast. I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily burying myself in one niche, but fishing is kind of taken my passions. Unlike Marshall, I have not been fishing my whole life. I started 3 years ago when I started this channel. So learning curve was steep. Ryan, the real yak dragger there, learned me the ropes quite a bit. And I just generally try to take 2 approaches to fishing. 1, be humble and learn from the best, and 2, try to share whatever knowledge I have with other people.
Awesome, man. It's obvious why you guys are on here and why I think we're all passionate about this kayak adventure series, just with that community and fellowship vibe and just enjoying fishing for what it is. Obviously they're going to take this series very seriously. It's still a competition, but we have all this other stuff kind of going on around it, which is why we're going to talk about some of that today and the top 10 reasons that we feel, people should come be a part of this. So, and I don't know if my internet's bad or Ryan's, whatever. He's buffering there, but if I am bad for any reason, let me know and I'll hop off and try to jump on another. I've got
No, you're good.
2 Wi-Fi's. Okay.
It's Ryan. He's having some Wi-Fi issues.
No problem.
He needs to go to his truck.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to take a page out of Brandon and Marshall's books there. So you guys in the comments, I appreciate them. Keep them coming. We'll try to throw in some comments here as well. And any questions you guys have, like I said, Billy, you can, if you see something good, Jake, if you guys see anything good, just toss them in. We'll talk about them. But I will quickly load that first banner. And then, so this is sort of a lineup right here. All right. We did the intros, sponsors, Taylor Swift, sponsor spotlight again. And then we get into our top 10 reasons. So the second part of this live stream, I'm trying to keep it organized here. That's why I have this right here, trying to keep it organized. So the second part here is the sponsor. So we could not do this without our sponsors, guys. And I've been really, really amazed and impressed at it, especially the state of the fishing industry. It's been a tough, I would say, year and a half for kayaking and fishing, probably all outdoor stuff. Honestly, that COVID bubble has kind of burst, but they've come on board in a big way to help make this inaugural year successful. So I got to thank GoPro, our headline sponsor. So, by the way, Billy, you see the GoPro logo right here on our screen?
Do.
See how it says "Be a Hero"?
Yes.
That's their little slogan. They're not using that logo anymore. So again, I told you guys I was going to mention stuff to Billy. We need to get the new GoPro logo up there, just the one that does not have to be a hero. So if you can make a note of that, I appreciate it. So I guess they're going to, it's just all the little squares now, but we've got that one on our website. But yeah, if you go on our website, you guys can see all of our series partners. So we're going to quickly list them off here. Thanks to GoPro, like I said, given that we're having our theater, the awards in these theaters and putting up pictures and videos of all of your awesome fish catches. Well, some of them, the best ones / the top 10 who are on stage. The rest of them will be showing later, using it for content on the YouTube channel or turning it into the TV episode for that particular event. So thanks to GoPro, thanks to Real Tree Fishing, Toyota and their Bonus Bucks program. That's pretty cool having them involved with that. Having Toyota truck demos at these events as well is going to be a lot of fun. You guys can check out the new 2024 Toyota Tacoma, the new body style. Have you guys seen that, by the way? It's pretty awesome. Yep. So Black Rifle, 13 Fishing, Z-Man Fishing, Torpedo, X2 Power. We're going to get into these more, but just got to thank all these brands here. So Old Town, it's really cool that we have so many kayak brands a part of this. We actually have room for one more kayak company out there, by the way, if anyone wants to has some contacts. But we're looking for one more because every event's going to be headline sponsored by a kayak manufacturer. Again, it's just to kind of promote the diversity and the unity of the sport. So Old Town, Crescent Kayaks, New Canoe, Bonafide, Innovative Sportsman. Those are the cool inflatables that Jeff Little is working on with Innovative Sportsman. They are all on board. Power Pole, Dark Horse Tackle. We're going to be talking about them some more in their monthly boxes. And I believe Zach is on here from Dark Horse as well on the live stream. Omnia Fishing, great place to get some tackle as well. Blackfish, Ashegan, AFCO, Fish It Small, Smith Optics, Sunline, Yak Attack, Boondocks, Benny Branches, Catch, Tightline Anchors, the Women's Fishing Federation. and one of our nonprofits, Punt Pediatric Collaborative for Pediatric Cancer. So it's called PUNT, Punt. Quad lock, turtle box, cables, Spro, and batteries plus. And there's probably a few more that have secured their sponsorships that need to get added. But I appreciate all you guys out there for supporting us. We could not do it without you guys. And now we will move on to.
Sorry, that was a jungle noise for the sponsors.
There you
Shout
go.
out to all the sponsors.
Exactly. We had to clip that. They're chasing the wild with us. All right. The next one is where we go. Oh, Taylor Swift. Honestly, Taylor Swift, it just seems like you just put her in a podcast and you get a bunch of views and followers. So I just threw in there. Honestly, I just was hoping some algorithm would pick that up and see that. But no real topic to talk about. Just it's been working for others. So I thought
you know what, Drew? When I saw Taylor Swift, I thought of the how Travis Kelce and Jason did the podcast, and with all the Swifties, they had that section where they said there's no dumb question. So I think on this live stream, there have been some questions already, and maybe we go back on YouTube and answer them later, and some of them might be answered when we do the top 10. So someone asked, how do you save money for a trail? Well, to tournament fish. Well, that's going to be in the top 10, but no dumb questions. So maybe that's the Taylor Swift plug.
Hey man, it could be. We could do no dumb questions. We could even do no dumb noises. See your monkey noise. Right. No, there's no dumb noises allowed. At any point, any of you guys could just come out with some crazy noise, and there are no dumb noises allowed. So it's no problem. No judgment zone, guys. Let's see. Next is the sponsor spotlight. So I did want to spotlight one sponsor at each show. Okay, so we're gonna do these weekly, and I'm going to attempt to share my screen here real quick to show you guys, which is kind of a nice little segue to let me present my screen. It's a nice segue to telling you guys that the website is it's live. I don't know if you guys know that. Can you guys see this screen here?
We can.
Here we go. The website is live. There you go. So what I wanted to do is go over here to, a lot of people don't know the website's live. So that's the reason I wanted to share this. You can go to the events. Registration doesn't start until January, but you can click on the events. You can see them all right here. You click on all of them and you can check out the events, but you can click on each one. Let's just click on Michigan, for example. So actually, sorry, I think it's only on Georgia. I've put that. The sponsor spotlight that I wanted to do, and I should have had this logo pulled up a little bit bigger, and I think it's pretty cool. So can you guys see this little guy down here? It says tackle for trash. Anybody see that?
Yep.
Okay, tackle for trash. Sponsored by Omnia Fishing. It's got a little guy holding up some trash bags and his waders. So basically what that is, guys, is the sponsor spotlight for today is it's pretty cool that Omnia is our official tackle sponsor, and you can go to omniafishing.com and check them out. But basically they're going to give away gift cards for each tournament for the angler who brings in, I'll remove this screen now too. The angler who brings in it's up to kind of us, I guess, as an organization to determine who wins this and on what criteria, but it's basically like whoever brings in the most unique piece of trash, or maybe they collect the most trash. And this isn't during tournament day for the Kayak Adventure Series. This is like during tournament week, like, the whole week. So you don't have to waste your time during the tournament picking up trash. But let's say you find something unique. Let's say it's a toy, a ball or some toy that could actually be given away to some kid. I like to pick up a toy and give it to my kids. There you go. Billy's got a license plate he found, it looks like,
found that in the Susky. There
you go. So could be anything. Could be something very random. I'm sure someone will bring in. You can either take a picture of it or bring it back to the awards if you want. But we're going to be able to show that picture on the big screen and give away a couple gift cards at each event. So we'll have a winner and then a second place. So if you're picking up trash, it just gives us a little extra incentive, and you're going to get, I believe it's like $150 gift card for the winner, and second place might be 50 or 75, something like that at each event. So that's pretty cool. Tackle, for trash. So bring in trash and you're going to get tackle, guys, thanks to Omnia Fishing. So we need a round of applause. Soundboard, Billy, put that on the notes. We need a soundboard for a round of applause, because it just sounds cooler when the crowd does it instead of me trying to conjure it. All right, guys, moving on. What was the next one? It was we're already to the topic here. Top 10 reasons to come and be a part of a kayak adventure series, tournament, event, festival, whatever you want to come for. Let's get right to it. So we're going to list off the top 10, and then I'm going to say, and you guys can help me with this as well. We actually are going to list the ones that just missed the cut. It's kind of like, college football rankings or the playoff. These people were just outside, right? So we'll list those, but you got to cut the line somewhere. So let's start with number 10. We can talk about them, and you guys in the comments can talk about them as well. Number 10, Billy, you want to hit it? I'll let you take over the controls here. You can say it.
Historic
do the whole thing.
theater award shows.
Exactly. Historic theater award shows. If you guys have followed along with the Kayak Adventure series, we're doing our, awards at these cool historic theaters that at each tournament stop in these towns that are sort of medium-sized towns, I'll call them, and they're kind of revitalizing their downtowns. So just again, for sake of sharing my screen here and seeing some pictures of it for you guys watching, at each event page, you'll see here, Thomas in Georgia, we will be at the Ritz Theater. That's going to be really cool. And then go to Whitehall, Michigan. We'll be at this cool Playhouse at White Lake. And then over in Poplar Bluff, Missouri, we'll be at the historic Rogers Theater. Look at that place. That seats like 1,000 people, that one. So let's see if we can pack that one out. What's that?
I said MIZ.
Yeah, we will do our best to pack that place out for sure. And I can't even see you guys, so sorry. I'm not looking at my screen while I do this. The Keystone Theater in Pennsylvania, and then Wisconsin will be at the Bonham Theater, which that seats like 100-something people. We might have to even.
Well, they have multiple rooms too.
That's true. We might have.
And also, like, that is the craziest theater I've ever been to. Like, it's just one of a kind.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And then the Broodstock and Bowling Green, we have a surprise for you guys on that. So Bowling Green, Kentucky, for the I'm not going to call it championship. I'm going to just continue to call it finale. And Broodstock, because championship insinuates that you have to qualify for it, and you do not have to qualify. That's just a separate standalone event. But the champions of the Angler of the Year and the Team of the Year will be awarded there. So it's a finale. It's a championship of sorts, but it's just an open event. It's going to be fun. So. All right, so guys, historic theaters, tell me what you like about doing our results and our awards at the historic theaters. Who wants to go first? Anybody?
I can jump in. I just love the idea of being able to travel around the country and see places that are historic. A lot of measure-ins might be in a park. They might be at the boat ramp and things like that. And I know there's been times when you're traveling with your family, or maybe you go on a work trip, and it's like forced participation, but you end up at a cool theater. I went on a couple like haunted tours in Cincinnati, Ohio, and it's just cool to meet local people, because I'm sure there'll be local people there and they'll have stories about the theater, and you learn like where it came from. Well, not where it came from, like just the history of it. It's really cool.
Yeah, it is cool. What do you think, Brandon? You got any thoughts on theaters? Excited to be on one of those stages, maybe, if you fish any of the events?
I think it just adds to the kind of the camaraderie aspect of this adventure series. I think kind of like Billy was saying, it doesn't really feel like kind of like a group dynamic when you're at like the boat ramp and you guys are all loaded up and you're just waiting for your stuff and rolling out. Like, this is a deliberate thing that you go do, and you're going to be there in a capacity that you can kind of network and meet people and stuff like that. So I think it just kind of aligns well with your goal and mission of this series, to make sure that everybody's kind of, building a community, if you will.
Love it, man. Love it. And by the way, guys, we don't all have to comment on every one of these 10, because we definitely want to keep it moving. So, but if you want, you can just raise your hand up and we'll go to you, and if you got a comment on one of them. But no, you're right. I mean, Brandon, that's it, man. It's having this consistent location. Billy, you kind of touched on it too. That's consistent across each event. It's kind of like how the Bassmaster Elite Series has the same stage. Now, granted, they drive it there and they pop it out, but it's the same thing every time. It's the same stage, the same look. It gives us that consistency, which is going to be nice. And of course, well, I'll let you guys chime in on some other stuff before I mention anything else that I think is kind of cool about it. But anybody else have any thoughts on the theaters?
Well, I mean, it keeps people from just piecing out at the end. Like I've done so many tournaments last 2 years where it's just like there's no reason to go. Like, there's no reason to go. Like usually they don't even know the location until like the second day of the tournament, whereas this one, like everybody knows exactly where we're going. So I think it'll be a big plus.
Yeah, that's true. And I guess to tag on to that, Saturday, being able to finish the event on Saturday, doing this day and a half format, which is a Friday afternoon combined with a Saturday, 5 fish between both days. I think people are going to stick around for the festival and the presentation, the awards, to be there to celebrate and applaud their friends that are up there on stage, or or themselves if they're on stage getting a check. So being done on Saturday is a big part of this, and there's no doubt about it. I think people will want to stick around to see all the videos. We actually did a cool thing in Northeast Ohio with the Kayak Anglers group. We did a trial run where they had a month long in October, and we asked everyone to submit their videos. And so we have a form that you guys as anglers of the trail will submit your footage to us. And what's cool is you're just, you can use the GoPro Quick app. You can use whatever you want, but you can trim it down to that 30-second fish catch or that 1 minute clip and submit it straight to our website. We'll get it, organize it. And again, the stuff we get right away, we'll be able to use there at the theater on that particular Saturday. Stuff that you submit later, a week or two later, when you get it all figured out, we can use for the TV show later on. But we'll be able to show all that stuff. And when we did that Oktoberfest, we actually went to a local kayak shop, Falls Outdoor Company here in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. We all kind of got there, and I showed all the videos. It was so much fun just having food together. We had hot dogs, we grilled out. It was so much fun, hamburgers, and watched those. And there were just so many comedic moments that happen, because we're not always asking for the best fish catches, guys. It's the funny stuff. One guy had a video he posted chasing a bobber around, because the bobber, I guess, someone broke off, on a fish. And this, obviously it was very recently, and he's chasing this bobber as this fish is swimming around, just trying to like catch it and save whatever's on the end of this bobber. And it was just a funny video. There was a couple of really funny clips like that were mixed in with the awesome fish catches. And it gave me this little glimpse of what it's going to be like in these theaters. And I got chills, guys. It was so cool, and how well and seamless the whole thing kind of worked, better than I thought. So anyway, theaters, any other comments on that before we roll? All right. The last thing I will mention, guys, is that it's going to be hot at some of these events. I'm talking like, we're in the summer, so we get to go inside in air conditioning. The theater's allowing food and drinks. So comfortable seats. Okay. We're in comfortable seats. And that stage gives the anglers a chance to really be on a real stage for the photos and videos of the event afterwards. You know what I mean? So that's going to be pretty cool. And of course, the confetti, smoke machines, all that stuff we can have going off is going to be a lot of fun. So excited about the theaters for sure. So let's see what's next. What's next, Billy?
Number 9 is first 100 anglers get $100 gift bag. I
mean, that's got to be a typo. We couldn't give $100 worth of stuff, $100 to 100 people times 6 events. That's a lot of cash, a lot of gifts. So again, thank you to the sponsors for chipping in to these gift bags to make sure all the first 100 anglers get $100 worth of cool product from you guys. So that's pretty cool. And the reason why we're doing this, one of the other reasons, is we want to allow anglers to sign up until the very last moment in our Thursday opening ceremonies. We want you to be able to sign up to all the way to the very last moment. However, when you're putting on an event of this scale and you're working with tourism, we need to know some stuff ahead of time, like how many people might be there, to plan for certain things, right? Space issues, things like that. This is an incentive to sign up early, is really what it is, because you do not get the gift bag. If you'll notice, you go to the website, kayakadventureseries.com, click on an event page, you'll see there is a week before the tournament begins, there's a cutoff, which is the early registration cutoff ends. And if you're anywhere past that, or if you're just past the 100 person, you will not get the gift bag. So be one of those first 100. If not, you can still register late. The price will go up a little bit and you won't get the gift bag, but at least you have an option. If you don't know if you can make it till the very last minute, at least we still are giving you that option to register as late as Thursday's opening ceremonies. So that's pretty cool. And that's what the gift bag helps us do, is really get anglers to sign up early. And on each event page, guys, I will each event page, so all the locations has an official live stream for that particular tournament. So, Marshall, we might have to have you back on for the Shoalipalooza, Georgia event. We're going to get, all the guys on there. Get, Banks and Eddies and North Georgia and Fishermen and who else we got? Atypical. All the guys that are doing what you're doing in Georgia. We got to get you guys all on for a Shoalipalooza live stream. And that live stream in January, they're all in January, a week apart in January. So it's kind of like 6 weeks. We open up the registration for Shoalipalooza for that first event on and during that live stream, right when that live stream starts. So it's sort of like a telethon in a way. Like when you guys are listening to us and watching right here, you can, in the comments, you can just register right then, be the first to register. And we're going to we might give extra incentive and extra prizes for people that register even during our live stream. So that'll be a lot of fun. Yeah. What do you guys think? $100 gift bag. Pretty cool, right? Just for entering the tournament.
Yeah, that's worth it right there.
Yep. That's right. And actually we need to clarify that's for the individual division. So if you're entering the 2-man team division, which we're going to talk about later, a little foreshadowing there, then that will not include that. So if you enter the individual division, which is $150, you get $100 worth of stuff right there. So that's pretty cool.
I don't know if you guys golf, but like one of my main reasons for golfing scrambles is because of the prize packs. Because let's be honest. I mean, we're not all going to win. I mean, we can't all win.
Right.
So it's almost like a guaranteed way to like incentivize you to go knowing that you're going to get something. It's not like the normal tournament where, you have tickets at the end and they draw numbers and you get like a pair of sunglasses or something like that. Like this is like, you're walking in and you're getting something immediately, which is kind of a good idea. And I think it's going to work out well for you.
Yeah, I think so, man. I'm excited. $100 worth of stuff. So moving on, unless you guys have any other comments there. And I do golf, by the way. I used to golf a lot more, but man, I had 2 kids and, just kind of not as much anymore. But I love the scrambles too. And that's one of the reasons. The scramble is very good, actually, comparison to this, because it's all about like just the laid back fun. You have the extra games on the par 3s, closest to the pin, all that extra kind of fun stuff, longest drive. It's kind of similar to what we got going on here. However, it's still super competitive, as you know, and the winners still win a good amount of stuff. So, I think it's gonna work out well. Next one. All right, Billy, what do we got?
All right, the number 8 reason to fish Kayak Adventure Series in 2024. Friday breakfast seminar series and the ACA Sunday classes.
Yeah, man, that's going to be a lot of fun. So this one is definitely more on the educational side of things. And I know a lot of folks coming to this are going to be beginners or intermediate, or maybe they're just fans of a lot of the anglers, some of the big names that might be there, or the YouTubers or content creators and celebrities are going to be in attendance. So this right here is where I bring in some of those folks at each event. You'll notice on the website again at each tournament, we're going to have 3 seminars of 45 minutes apiece, back to back to back on that breakfast seminar series on Friday. And again, you can't pre-fish on Friday. The tournament starts, we're not going over the whole thing here. We've done other podcasts about that, but tournament starts on Friday afternoon at 3. You got a 3 to 7 afternoon sesh, and you can't pre-fish that day. So we have this breakfast seminar series. So maybe from the night before, the Thursday's opening ceremonies, maybe, you stayed up a little too late, you had a little too much fun, whatever. Well, wake up and come have some coffee and, come just, learn a few things. You can bring your rods and reels and spool up and learn from the experts. Now, I know at Georgia, for example, Marshall, we've got Dr. Salmons there. I know you've heard of him and know of him for sure. He's over in Auburn University. And Travis as well from, Georgia's DNR, another biologist, and they're going to speak on the shoal bass, because I know a lot of people are coming to the Shoalipalooza to catch that bucket list fish. So, and Dr. Salmons is one of the best interviews, the best seminar speakers you'll ever hear, and explaining, because he's an angler as well. So we have him. We got, I think Jeff Little and I are going to talk about some river fishing secrets that we, hate to divulge. Although I should change the title of that topic. He loves to divulge, and I hate it when he divulges. But either way, we're going to talk about stuff like that. And I can't remember the third one. But either way, all of the events have 3 seminars from celebrities or experts in the industry, and they're pretty cool. So and I believe we're going to charge a little bit for those, and that's some of the money's going to go to pay travel and for the the pros that are coming in, some of the guys that like Dr. Salmons and whatnot, and support the local river keepers. So it's a charity as well. And then ACA Sunday is very similar, but there's probably, I don't know, 10 of us total that are certified by the American Canoe Association to be kayak fishing instructors. And we're all certified at different paddling levels, and we can continue to upgrade our certifications to be able to teach you guys and basically to be accredited, to know that we've, proven to a third party organization who's been teaching classes and I guess certifying instructors for over 100 years now. And Andrea White was just on here. She may still be on here. So here she is. Yes, there she is. Andrea White's on here. So if she's still on, she actually is the one who's a big part of this work for the Georgia River Network and helped a lot of us, her and Jeff Little really pushed this hard to get certified. And it's so important, because I forgot how much I've even learned about safety and paddling and paddle strokes and stuff like that. And that's the kind of stuff that we're going to teach you guys on those Sundays. So let's say like a Russ Snyder's was there, for example. Dustin Hoy was there. We had Wade Clements from Yak Attack, and Dustin Hoy is with Raccoon Creek Outfitters. We had who else was there? Jeff, Russ Snyder's. I think I maybe mentioned everybody. We got Kevin from Cuckoo Kayak. I don't know if he's going to be at these Kayak Adventure Series events, but Jameson Redding, Fletch Griffin, Chuck Earls up here in Ohio. They're all already, those guys are already certified. But the long story short is, the sad reality is kayak anglers, guys, are the number one paddle sports group. They're leading in deaths across the country. You would think whitewater kayakers, right? Or something else, not kayak anglers. But we need to continue to educate people, not just safety. And that's not what you're going to learn at these events, just safety and paddle strokes and things like that to keep you safe, and how to self-rescue and things like that. But we're going to teach you guys fishing stuff along with it. So, and we'll offer more courses as the series goes on. So, Andrea, we thank you for all you do. And I'm excited about the educational component to the Kayak Adventure Series. You guys have any comments on the seminar series for the breakfast on Fridays or the ACA classes?
You know what? I'm sure everyone does, but I'm excited for number 7. Do I get in trouble if I move us to number 7?
Move along, dude. Move us along.
Right, that is super cool. And I love you gave so many shout outs to all the people that were there. One of the photos that I saw of your ACA, and I knew Chuck Earls had done it before. One of the photos, I was like, what is it, like a celebrity photo? Like, what was this class? And that's super cool. All right. Number 7 reason you guys are going to love this one. It is microbagging.
Microbagging. I think the bettors had the odds, because there's people out there obviously betting on this list. So what would come in number 1 and 2 and 3, obviously. So I think the odds for microbagging were a little bit, I think people thought it was going to be higher in the list. Okay. However, it still made the list. It's number 7, microbagging, 5 smallest fish, minimum of 5 inches. So your holy grail bag is a 25-inch bag, I guess you could call it. And that category it's gotten a lot of attention. And when I actually focused on it, look, I fish the high level kayak fishing stuff. Love it. You guys all, some of you guys do it as well. That's fun, catching big fish. I never realized how fun it was until I actually targeted the small fish. So who's excited about microbagging? Who's got some comments on it? And to see if because we're actually giving away, it's not like you just win a pack of Z-Man Micro Finesse, baits, which is the headline sponsor of this, category. You actually are going to get, cash. So who's excited to, if you're having a bad day, or if you just choose to focus on this category, who's excited to veer over and do a little microbagging at these events?
I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
See, everyone at one time, microbagging is popular. All right. What do you say, Marshall?
I've actually never heard of that, but it's a pretty good idea. And I got a couple of buddies of mine that probably win it every time. So maybe I'll enter them in the tournament.
That's right. And they can, I think we're going to make a t-shirt that says something like, we're going to sell at we'll have merch tents and cool shirts. I think it's like 5 inches for the win or something, or 5 inches was enough. I don't know. So something funny like that to go with this microbagging category.
You know what I think is going to happen is that somebody is going to be fishing for microbagging and like crappie jigs, and they're going to get biggest bass of the tournament. That's what I think is going to happen.
I saw a dude catch a 7-pound bass on a crappie jig last winter. So
it's going to happen.
It'll happen. I hope it happens and we get it on GoPro, and that's what we can share at the award show. Because so I can see somebody saying, "I'm not having a good day. I'm just gonna I'm gonna switch gears and go microbagging for this tournament." Maybe they didn't have a good Friday session, on their 4 hours Friday, or maybe they weren't even able to make Friday and they just could only do Saturday. Again, it's 5 fish, so you don't have to fish Friday necessarily if you can't make it. But Saturday, they get there, they're having a bad day, they switch gears thinking they're not in the hunt anymore, and all of a sudden they catch a big one, like you're saying, on something like that, and then they have to switch back and focus on the big one and say, wow, maybe I'm in the hunt for a check after all. But we'll
I think
see.
what's going to be crazy is I've caught, if I was going to like go out there and fish for both, like I've caught more like 7, 5, 6, 7, 8 inch bass on Vision 110s than any lure ever. Because big fish eat Vision 110s, but small fish also eat Vision 110s.
It's true.
Because I have this theory that those small ones are trying to like rip a fin off the fish, and then they get like 8 hooks in their face. So
yeah, you're definitely going to find a pattern that you wouldn't have found otherwise, I think. Certainly.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's going to be interesting. That's for sure. And just so you guys know, Dwayne Wally, he was on earlier, and we actually should have read him off as a list of a sponsor, Tourney X. We got to add him to the list, so we'll make a note of that too, Billy. He's actually doing something pretty cool in this leaderboard for the event. So the minimum for the 5 biggest is 10 inches. Okay, so some tournaments is 12. We're anything that's double digits, 10 inches and up. So again, we're trying to help people get 5. So giving the anglers a day and a half to do it is going to help. And then allowing that minimum to be 10 inches is going to help. So if you submit your fish to the microbag leaderboard, which right now, the way we have it set up, if you enter the individual division, it automatically comes with your entry into the microbag. So you pay your $150, you're in microbag and the biggest 5. And then he's going to make a leaderboard where if you submit any fish, you just have to submit them all to the same leaderboard. That's 9.75 and under. It goes automatically to the microbag leaderboard because it wouldn't count for the other leaderboard because the minimum is 10. If you submit something that's 10 inches and above, it goes to your biggest 5. So all you got to do is just worry about submitting fish. So if you're actually throwing a whopper plopper or a Vision 110 or whatever, and you just happen to catch a 8.75, submit it, because now you're already one fish closer to possibly switching gears to microbag if you need to. So should be fun.
Absolutely. I think it's probably the best. I mean, I don't know why it's number 7, because I think it's like I can't wait to
I think
see
it
what
should be
6
number
through
1.
1 is. Yeah, I can't wait to see what the rest of these are if that's number 7.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. The number 6 reason, and someone asked a question on YouTube, and this is going to answer their question. Less vacation time is needed.
Yes, less vacation time needed. I got to explain this one a little bit before we have you guys chime in. So are you guys aware of our pre-fishing rule? Some of you guys may or may not be. And the way it works is our pre-fishing window is a 2-week window. You actually have a 2-week window to pre-fish. And it starts, again, our events start on Friday. So 2 Fridays prior, so 2 weeks prior from that Friday, you can start officially pre-fishing and practicing for the event. However, you can only fish 4 days in that practice window, 4, but you get to choose the 4. So let's just say, and here's how this is going to save you vacation time. A lot of tournaments now out there, they might have, let's say, a week, the week before the practice window opens, right? So if you really want to be there and fish, you got to take off vacation. If you really want to really seriously be competitive and some of the stuff, you got to maybe fish Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the tournament starts, or Thursday, Friday, or whatever. You're going to take 2, 3, 4, if not all days of the week, all 5 days to practice. That's a lot of vacation time. However, on the Kayak Adventure Series, you get to pick which 4 within a 2-week window. So you got a full-time job, you're busy. This tournament's only 2 hours from you, or an hour and a half, or 4 hours. I'm like at a reasonable driving distance to make a weekend trip out of it. Does that make sense? So you go, and if it's not, if it's an event you're driving 12 hours to, then obviously, you can't do that in a weekend. You're just gonna have to go take off a couple days of vacation during the week, just like you have to do now for any other tournament. It's the same thing. But if you happen to live within a reasonable drive, you've got 2 prior weekends that you can go take off 0 vacation, go practice, and then roll in right there on Thursday night for the opening ceremonies, or even Friday morning. Again, you could roll in Friday, and we're making special exceptions. You don't have to be there for the opening ceremonies. You want to be for sure. There's a lot of fun stuff happening, there at the opening ceremonies. But anyway, that's how it's going to save vacation time. Because you may just have to take off one day work on Friday or a half day or whatever, and that's really it, because we're allowing those, a 2-week window. And someone's in the comments, someone's going to say, well, how do you police that? And the answer is the same way you police the same way it is now. If someone has a 3-day practice window or a 7-day, how do you know people aren't out there 9 or 10 days? I mean, you just don't. So the honor system is sort of that rule, and the obviously what we have potential to be polygraph tested. We all have to agree to, potentially take a lie detector test if anything like that is, if there's any suspicion or whatever, and we need you to take one. And of course, who's going to risk losing, being prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law for fraud, right? By risking, whatever amount of money or prizes you're going to win at this event. It's just not worth it. So, and if for some reason, I'd rather be competing if I was someone, which obviously I am. I got kids and a job and a lot of stuff going on. But if somebody for some crazy reason, let's say someone breaks that rule and they fish a 5th day or a 6th day and no one ever knows, I would still much rather, if you're a guy out there with a full-time job, you can only get 1 day to pre-fish or 2 days or whatever max. I'd much rather compete against an entire field who is only getting 4 days. A majority of 99.9% of the people are going to take just 2 or 3 or 4 days, max to pre-fish. I'd rather be competing against that than an entire field that's got a week or unlimited amount of practice time, because the ones who, of course, can do that full time for a living are going to camp out for a week or 10 days. So I'd much rather, I think it just kind of levels the playing field. So that's the reasoning for that. Anybody got any comments on that one?
I think you hammered it.
All right, cool.
And if anyone is caught cheating, we do know a guy with access to a Black Hawk helicopter. We will find you.
Yeah, we will.
We will find you. So we know a guy. Okay.
We will.
All right. Moving on. Number 5 is kayak fishing friendly rule set.
Yeah, I mean, can you guys list off some of the things that that you think that would apply to this kayak fishing friendly rule set in this tournament series?
Trolling is the first one that comes to mind for me. I understand why boats can't do it. You don't want a bunch of bass boats out there crisscrossing, whatever. Kayaks are just, it's slower. It can be done safely, and trolling.
Wade fishing.
Yeah, wade fishing is a good one. Trolling, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that, Billy. The trolling, if you go and read the rules right now, again, kayakadventureseries.com, you will notice trolling is allowed. Oh my goodness, trolling's allowed? How could that be? Well, it can very well be, and it should be, because it gives you a chance on stage to thank your Hobie pedal drive or your native drive or your Jackson flex drive or whatever drive, or your Bending Branches paddle, whatever propels you, your Torpedo or Newport or Motor Guide. It gives you the chance to thank your sponsors and those products that are all part of Boat Control that helped you get those fish. And it's just kind of like, hey, we can't go that fast if you got to go a mile or two in the middle of a tournament. We can really actually go a trolling speed at max anyway. So you might as well throw a rod out there. It's legal to do within the state. So why not? If it just helps the anglers catch more and bigger fish, then we're adding it for the Kayak Adventure Series. That's our motto. Any rule we have, if you go look at all of our rules, we ask ourselves first, how is this going to help people catch more and catch bigger fish and essentially have more fun? And if the answer is it doesn't, we get rid of it and we make a rule, do it. So anyway, that's the reason why we have trolling in there for sure. And the 2 rods allowed at one time, by the way, so you can troll with 2 rods. That one is allowed for Marshall. I know shoal bass are this way, and same with smallmouth. You got that big follower, smallmouth or big follower shoal bass, and you can toss in with your second rod and catch them both, or get the one that's bigger if you're willing to risk the other one. And we want that on GoPro. We want to show that in the theater. So go do that. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely possible. But yeah, wading is the other one that was mentioned. That's huge. You got to stay tethered. And you can look at the rules. I think our leash, there's a certain minimum length. I believe it was like 7 feet, maybe 10. I can't remember actually. But wading is a big part of kayak fishing, and when it gets shallow in the skinny water. So good one. Anybody else got a kayak fishing friendly rule they can think of?
I mean, the portaging aspect is big. Obviously that one's a little bit more complicated, but I think like it kind of goes with wading, but like there's a lot of like stigmatism, I guess, towards portaging in kayak fishing. And I think the rule set really caters to being to approach that in a better way is basically the best way to say it. So I think a good example actually that comes to mind, not to drag this on, but like when we were fishing lacrosse this year, right? Water super low. Half of the areas back on those sloughs we couldn't get to that were normally 100% inbounds, normally 100% part of the fishery, we couldn't get to because we couldn't portage over the silted in areas from the low water. And it was like just a huge bummer because you're like looking at this area like, oh, I want to fish this, but
Right.
due to this really weird archaic rules, you can't go in there. So I know why those rules exist, but I think like there needs to be more wiggle room, and that's to me what I'm excited about.
No, I agree, man. So anything else? I know Marshall maybe had to drop off and head back to work, but I mean, what about the Wolf of Walmart had a comment here that's can we load up the kayak into a truck and drop it into a different part of the water body? Well, that applies to what we're talking about. This number right here that we're on is you can, and you, as long as you're accessing from public access, which is again, that's what we do in kayaks. We launch from anywhere that's public access, whether it's a boat ramp or a drag through a wildlife management area that's 100 yards, whatever. That's why we have kayaks. That's what differentiates from the boat. So yes, you can do that. You can certainly load up your kayak into a truck and drop it into a different body of water as long as you're doing it from public access. So good question.
Yeah, and then Ryan Parker asked, he's a buddy of mine, where do we stand on e-bike access? And really, I just wanted to show this comment to say that Parker has an inflatable, and he bought an e-bike, and he straps the e-bike he puts the e-bike in his kayak, on his kayak, and then goes there, and then he can go. But it's
sounds good to me. Why
Yeah.
not?
I've honestly thought about trying this, and I've racked my brain like a million times because like doing a float by yourself, like you want to do a drop in, but you don't want to rely on somebody else. And that's genius.
And you know, he's also put a lot of thought into it, the safety aspect of it too. So he has a helmet, like a bike helmet. There's, you know, you're going to be on the road when you go back to your truck. You're on a public road, and I think a lot of the e-bikes, you have to be 18 to be able to ride it. I mean, it's considered a street legal, you know, in most places. So as long as the local laws and the state laws where we're fishing allow that, absolutely, you'd be able to do that.
So here's something for you guys. You see the screen here? This is a company called it's UBCO. I don't actually know what it stands for. Yeah, but they make these cool electric bikes. They actually have a hunt edition, and they've got it's kind of made for this kind of stuff. And the reason I'm bringing this up to show you guys this is because our good friends at GoPro have actually sent the Kayak Adventure Series sponsorship packet to this company and talked to them about it because they work with GoPro a good bit. So who knows? Maybe this company will decide to sponsor these series, and you guys could do demos of their bikes at the festivals, at the Saturday Festival, along with the Toyotas and kayak demos and everything else that goes on there. So that actually looks like a perfect one to
Can we get an autopilot on that thing?
An autopilot, yeah.
Do you think the kayak would like fit, or that would fit on the kayak, or would you have to like hide it and then come back and get it later?
The one Parker has, it folds up. Parker's actually folds up. So that's how he's able to do that.
The e-bike folds up?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. I know you could lock it up. You could lock it up. You know,
no, he takes it with him.
But that's crazy. It folds up and it goes on the kayak?
Yeah.
The e-bike does.
Yeah.
That's wild. Well, I guess they're not really kayaks anymore. We do fish out of these mini boats. So
yeah. And he bought a waterproof bag to put it in, like he covers it, and yeah.
Well, either way, this would be awesome. You could load this in your truck with your kayak. You could go to wherever you want to put in or pull out, and then you could transport yourself to either, and you could just lock it up, like you said, and go pick it up when you're done.
Exactly. It's perfect. We allow it. So the answer to your question is, yeah, we're going to allow this for sure. But I will say this, guys, before everyone gets like, oh my goodness, I mean, you can still get to that access or whatever, you know, with a cart, you know, Yak Attack cart, or walking it. I mean, or it's not a lot of places where you could e-bike in that you can't still access some other way. You know what I mean? It's not that many. And here's the other problem. Just because you can get in somewhere doesn't mean you can't get there from another access to that same part of the river or the lake with the 30-minute window you have that you're allowed to paddle or motor to your, spot, and you can't still get there within 30 minutes. And here's the other thing. It doesn't mean there's some magical land of milk and honey with big, 7-pounders everywhere just because you e-biked in somewhere. It still has to be like, so anyway, don't fret if a couple people use an e-bike to get somewhere, because trust me, you can get there to that same spot too without an e-bike. Okay. So, but we'll allow it. We love creativity. So
We do. All right, moving on to number 4. We have the opening and closing ceremony festivals. What?
yeah, I mean, the rundown of those is simply, it's a festival. It's fun. It's food trucks. It's music. It's, drinks, bouncy houses for the kids, games, cornhole, all kinds of just fun games like that going on. And kayak demos. Most of them will have kayak demos. Maybe not every single stop, because our festival has to be right on the water in that city. But we're going to try to have kayak demos at every one. And if not, we're still going to have kayaks there for you guys to check out and see from the local dealers for the brands that are sponsors of the Kayak Adventure Series. But anyway, Toyota truck demos, maybe these e-bike demos. So all the fun there at the festival. Plenty of things to do for the family, and just fellowship. You'll see that's just a theme. The camaraderie and the fellowship is what it's all about in the festival. And the opening and closing ceremonies, the cool thing about them is the opening is on Thursday. So you can, again, remember, we don't have to get up early to go fish on Friday morning. We can't fish till the afternoon. So there's no reason not to be hanging out, having fun at that opening ceremony festival late into the night, and enjoy the camaraderie and the friendships. And then same thing we talked about on Saturday at the theater. So yeah, that's it. You guys excited about those?
I mean, who doesn't like a party? I mean, something wrong with you if you don't like a party. So,
I mean, a lot of the locations are
and
cool,
there's 2 of them. There's 2 parties.
That's right.
So
Exactly.
if you miss one, you can hit the other one.
That's exactly. Hey, and there's even an after party. Really, after the award ceremony at the theaters, we even have a designated after party location, and that's going to be even more wild on Saturday night. So,
and I will shout out, since I know that Brandon likes whiskey, the Poplar Bluff one has an insane whiskey bar for the after party. So
yeah, that's dangerous. But I will tell you, again, everything that you're doing aligns with your mission set, right? And like, we want this to be not stuffy. Okay. And like, too many times in bass fishing do people get wrapped up in their own, stuff. And I think this is just another opportunity for people to kind of lubricate themselves and not feel like so, stuffy and stuck up and, all that stuff. So I think it's a great idea. And, you're doing a great job putting that stuff together.
Yeah. Thanks, man. And hopefully that, like you said, we keep putting out the, vibes like that. That's going to, I hate to almost say it like this. Maybe it sounds bad, but we kind of don't want people to show up that are not into just like letting whatever happened on the water go and just have fun. Once the tournament's over, you can't play defense in this sport. Okay. We lose fish. It sucks. It stings. I get it. I fish, tournaments at a high level and it's not fun. But the moment I'm off that water, man, if you're that guy who just has this, everybody back at the house you're staying with, it's like no one can have fun anymore because this guy is just fuming. That's not what we're about. You can't control that stuff, guys. And it's past. What's past is past anyway. So it's what you said earlier. I think, Brandon, I think you said this. We can't all win. So what we can control is we can have a good time. We can put on a big party. We can all win in that way. We know that is a sure thing at these events, but we can't all actually end up on the stage, which is when you mentioned that earlier. So yeah, hopefully we kind of, push away some folks that are a little too stuffy and not willing to just let loose and have fun and forget what happened on the water if they happen to have a bad day, because it's just part of fishing.
Yeah, it's like a company picnic. This is just the softball game. The fishing tournament is the softball game. Nobody belabors who won the softball game at the end of it. You might chide people a little bit, give them some crap, or man, it sucks you lost that 8-pounder. For me, it would probably be you dropped that rod in the water or whatever, or my phone. But but yeah, like you said, you just kind of got to have a short memory. You just got to, take the tournament for what it is. And then when you're done with it, basically have a good time with your friends.
Yeah, and it
Love it.
solves the issue of trying to get 19 people into a Buffalo Wild Wings to hang out after the tournament.
Yeah, that's true.
Or,
It's
or
true.
forgetting to invite
I'm
someone.
speaking from experience here.
Yeah.
Man, Brandon, you're like the analogy king too. I love it. Company,
Yeah,
the softball picnic thing. I love
yeah. Well, that's how my brain works. So
it. Oh man, that's good. So I can't wait to have you at some of these events. We're gonna have a good time. What's next, Billy?
Number 3 it's another one that could easily have been number 1, but here we go. Number 3 is raising money for pediatric cancer and local river keepers.
Yeah, we've mentioned it already. I don't know if this one really, needs a ton of going over, but I mean, it is what it is. You guys, you read it right there. I mean, we're raising money for a good cause, helping the families that have kids. I mean, the worst thing in the world is that cancer. Like C word is like, that's the worst. Now a kid too. I mean, it's a cause that's kind of near and dear to, Alex Rudd, who's going to be emceeing some of these events on stage with me. It's near and dear to his heart. And it hit me when our daughter was in the NICU, and I just walked by all those little babies, and it was like, man, I just wanted to you just want to take care of them all and care for them. It was so just, what can I do to help? This is so sad. And so anyway, when I saw he was helping out with that punt organization, I just man, we have to make this the charity for year 1. And what that means is a kayak will be raffled off. Thank you again to our kayak manufacturers at each event for donating a kayak to raffle off for pediatric cancer. So that's what that's going to be. And appreciate that. So local river keepers also supporting those as well at each tour stop, because they do so much to keep those rivers and lakes clean in that area. So we will have a way to raise money for them as well. So, and they will be there on hand most likely. So if they sell shirts or do anything that, raise support, they'll be there. So you can meet them and thank them for all they do to fight and go and legislate and, speak on behalf of all of us. If some company's dumping a bunch of pollutants in the water, who am I, one person? I don't have the funding to go fight some big corporation, but they do that on behalf of all of us. And we appreciate that. So we'll support them. On to 2.
Number 2, 2-man team division presented by X2 Power.
Yeah, I mean, people at the River Bassin tournaments, guys, they were all about the team division. They miss it. They loved it. It gave them someone to kind of strategize with and some camaraderie. It gave them someone to ride there with if they happen to live together, locally. Now you don't have to fish together. Okay. You don't, but some people for safety reasons choose to do that and fish together or have a plan or be close to each other. So it just is a lot of fun, and it allows the anglers to, by the way, the 2-man team division is $75 a piece. Okay. So it's just $75, and you can enter that and the individual division, which is $150, or you could just enter the team division. So it allows a way for anglers in this tournament to be a part of the fun, the festivities, and the weekend for just $75. Because if you don't, enter the individual division, that's all it would be. So I know some people don't want to spend $300 to fish a tournament, or $250. They're not at that level yet. And this is not really meant to attract all those top level kayak anglers, because we have the Bassmaster Kayak Series and the Hobie Series and the KBFs, and hopefully people will graduate and fish those and move up to the other big events if they choose to go to that even higher competitive level, like the Elite Series kind of level, if you want to call those kayak series the Elite Series of kayak fishing. But yeah, a 2-man team division is a fun way to come on and be a part of it.
yeah, I mean, I fished the River Series here in the River Series Championship in Missouri for the Moyak Series, and it was a good opportunity to kind of cross. I would say I'm probably a more comfortable river fisherman, and my partner was Chad Davison, who's a more comfortable lake person. And so, he relied on my expertise for paddling and picking spots and things like that. And I kind of relied on his expertise for, experience on what types of lures or baits or whatever else. I mean, and we didn't quote unquote fish together because he fishes a lot slower than I do, but we were able to kind of come together and win that championship just based off of the combined experience of both of us. And I think that's a good opportunity for people to kind of learn and figure it out that way too.
Yeah, absolutely. And Billy, before you do number 1, I want to see if anybody out there has any guesses, or if you guys, and I want to throw out some funny ones I had that I thought about putting for number 1. But anyway, any other comments on that team division? That think it speaks for itself, like you said. I mean, and the fact we didn't actually mention in the rule set earlier, the format question or the number on the list. But yeah, lakes, rivers, and creeks are all in balance for this. So you can have an angler like you did, like who's better at flat water, and you might be better at rivers and creeks, and you can, team together and team up together on it. So that is another positive to the Kayak Adventure Series. All tournaments except for the Susquehanna, except for the Fiesta on the Susky, have a flat water, usually multiple lakes in bounds to fish. So it's kind of like
That would be interesting, having one person on a lake and the other on the river.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree.
choose your adventure, sort of, so to speak, on the Kayak Adventure Series, which could have been number one. Really, the diversity of it all, allowing, which just missed the cut, but the fact that we allow motors, as well. Some people that's a positive. Other people, might see it as a negative. I see it as a positive because the people with motors only launching and fishing in the places that motors excel, and that gives a chance for you to access wherever is public and fish some areas that the motors don't excel. So, but anyway, I did want to mention that lakes are in bounds, rivers and creeks, all of it's in bounds at every event, and motors are allowed as well for people that didn't know that. But number one,
Yeah.
I mean,
oh, go ahead. I was gonna give it away, but go ahead.
don't give it away yet, because if you guys out there have any guesses, number one, I thought about putting something funny to pick at the fishing industry right now, just as a joke, and saying something like, number one is we are not arguing over live scope or something like that. Like there's no ban, because it's, the way we have our format set up, you can win in any different way. So it's not like you have to have live scope. So number one could have been, you don't have to have live scope to think you're going to win these events, but something like that. There's a bunch of funny ones I thought of for number one. I can't remember any of the other ones, but we can reveal it if you guys want.
All right, the real number one is something
We need a drum roll for this, by the way.
Yeah, that's true, Billy. We need a drum roll.
Add that to the soundboard.
There we go.
Focused
Go
on
ahead, Dylan.
fellowship, camaraderie, and friendships.
Yeah, maybe it's kind of lame that we put this number one, but because it kind of is an overarching theme of the whole thing. But really, I wanted to put that number one because it is the most important thing. We structured the whole Kayak Adventure Series around, like, not just going to cool places, which could have been on the list too, that we're going to all these unique and cool places that aren't your typical, tournament fisheries that have really good fishing. So that one, I guess, just missed the cut. But it's just that I feel like when we first started in this, when I started in it, a lot of people got into kayak fishing in events and tournaments, the old boondoggles that we had, the old river bass and rodeos, and a lot of that stuff still, of course, goes on at local levels. But that camaraderie and that fellowship was so much a big part of why we entered the events. And as I began to fish the high level events, and it's certainly not, again, this is different than that stuff. So that's meant to be that elite series, the high level, and it is more serious. There's a lot more money on the line, and there's certainly camaraderie that happens there too, and a lot of fun and fellowship. They do a good job for kayak fishing at that level. But this was just meant to be like, okay, I want to make sure that we can have time built in to these events, and on Thursday the ceremonies, the festival, Saturday, like we talked about, all different ways to promote just friendships, fellowship, because we can change a lot of people's lives through this. How many, raise your hand out there or comment if kayak fishing changed your life for the better. When I was young, I could have been doing a lot of other stuff and getting in trouble, but I fell in love with kayak fishing and it kept me out of trouble. And a lot of people, it's helped you with your fitness. It's helped you just be in a better frame of mind. And we wanted to make sure that the friendships, a lot of people have met good friends that have changed their lives because they're now best friends and that made memories. And if you didn't have kayak fishing to meet those people, then you wouldn't have those friends, because it goes beyond the fishing. It goes to our families and our wives and our kids, if you have any of that going on. So yeah, we want to put that number one for sure.
Yeah, I think it's fair to put it there. I mean, a lot of the stuff I do, I wouldn't do without kayak fishing. So it's a legitimate argument. Like I've fished my whole life, but it wasn't until I started kayak fishing that I really got more involved in fishing in this capacity, if that makes sense. So
yeah. And
I know like Brandon and Ryan formed their friendship over kayak fishing. So
yeah,
absolutely. Yes. Yep. Something about, that I don't know. I agree with you, Jake. I think that like I wouldn't have fished the Susquehanna. I wouldn't have fished in Florida. I wouldn't have fished in Arizona or any of these other places without kayak fishing and, truthfully, social media and able to build those relationships. I think this is just another venue like social media to either reinforce those relationships with the people that you've met on social media, i.e. me and you guys, or make new friendships of people that you've actually never seen on social media or people that aren't generally speaking on it like we are. So I agree. I agree with Jake's number one. And, Ryan and I obviously have benefited from our kayak friendship tremendously through social media and, tournaments, truthfully. So I'm all on board with that being number one, man. And I think it's a good thing that you're doing this.
Awesome, man. We're putting up comment after comment, guys. If you're, listening to this, we'll probably try to get this out. Billy, that's another thing we got to do. Try to get this out on an audio only version. So we'll have to get a podcast up to for Kayak Adventure Series for iTunes and all that good stuff, but or Apple Podcasts, whatever it's called now. But we're putting up comments right now. People just saying how kayak fishing has impacted their lives and the friendships. And now, like you're saying, Brandon, and like you got Ryan, I'm sure is one of your better friends. If like what you're saying, you got someone, if something happens in your life or you guys out there watching, I mean, this is supposed to be kind of a distraction and fun from a lot of the things that happen in regular everyday life that aren't that fun, that we all go through, losing a job or a breakup or whatever, having problems with different things in life. And now this helps give us people that really we can bond over and bond with, and talk to about things that happen. Because to me, that's way more important than fishing and all of this. So people were meant to have these personal relationships, and this gives us a chance to kind of make that happen for everybody out there. So, man, this is cool. Wolf of Walmart. I didn't even met Drew in Columbus last year. No clue who he was. Such a solid dude. I looked into it. Now I have a kayak, and man, I wouldn't have it any other way. That's awesome. So that's cool. I mean, I love hearing stories like that. So keep sharing the love, guys. And before we roll out, anybody else have any other thoughts on that before I share the things that didn't make the list?
No, I just, I think I want to add one thing real quick. We also have people in our lives, like kids, or there's like younger adults or whoever that they kind of look up to us, and they look to us for advice. And when I think about my 5 closest friends or my 10 closest friends, they're all the fishing or kayak industry or whatever. So being able to, show my kids that I do have a passion, and, I'm almost 48 years old, and all my closest friends are people I just met. So you're not stuck with people from high school or people that whatever, life,
true.
you never know where life's going to take you. So I love this.
It evolves. No, that's a good point. All right, we'll wrap up the show. We're going to try to keep these shows every week to an hour and a half ish. And we're actually an hour and like 15 almost. So perfect. All right. So we'll like this. We're scrolling a ticker at the bottom here. So number 11 would have been, if there was a number 11, it's about to show up. Come on, that's got to go all the way to the very end. Okay, it's going to be the after party. I'll just say it. The after party. We already talked about it, so don't have to get into that. The after party, designated location. We have a rooftop rented out at one of the restaurants in Pennsylvania. There's just different places, breweries. We can play games. The Angler Garage Sale, number 12. Angler Garage Sale is where you guys say, oh, I don't have enough money to enter this tournament. Well, bring the stuff in your garage that you need to sell that you no longer use but has value, and we will give you a tag. We'll have a certain easy up tent, right? You can write your name on it, how much you're asking, and put your phone number on it, and people right there at the kayak event, or you can put your Venmo handle or your PayPal and your phone number. People right then and there can text you, and they're all going to be mingling around, right? Because the festival Saturday, when this will all go down, is from 2 to about 5:30, because we go to the theaters at 6, right? From 2 to 5:30, maybe you get back from fishing at 3:30, or maybe you don't get there till 4:30, depending on where you were, whatever. But at any point, you might get a text from somebody if you put something in that garage, and we'll have a way for you guys to give it to us beforehand at the opening ceremony, right? So bring it to us. We'll have it displayed there with a tag, your phone number, and people can message you and say, well, you take $100 for this, or they'll just pay you and say, hey, I got your thing. I took it, and they pay you. And that's kind of cool. We can all kind of make a little money while we're there too, because Lord knows we got stuff to get rid of. So do you guys know about that? It's pretty cool. I don't know. A lot of people didn't know we're doing that there. 13. Yep. Batteries plus Sunday side pot tournament. So Batteries Plus stores all across the country. You're going to win a prize. It's a $20 entry for the Batteries Plus side pot Sunday tournament. So if you can't fish the whole thing, or you're really not big into tournaments, and you don't want to spend a lot of money and be a part of the actual big main tournament, the side pot Sunday tournament it's like 6 hours. You choose the 6 hours. You log in on check in on TourneyX, and you got 6 hours from the moment you check in. All you win is, like some gift cards or some prizes from Batteries Plus stores, maybe X2 batteries or something like that. So it's not like some big thing that anyone's really going to cheat to try to win or anything. So don't worry about that. But you get experience fishing in a tournament, which a lot of you guys out there may need. And that's why this is such a good event for the beginners with all the seminars and classes and everything else. So Batteries Plus Sunday Side Pod Tournament at number 13. Number 14 would have been family activities, which we kind of talked about too. There's on each website, right? Each web page for each event, I should say, you got all these other family activities and excursions and things that are happening in that area. And a reason why we're in that part of the country, the fun things to do for the family. So if you bring the family, which that could have been one on the list too. The fact that you could bring the family to this, that could have been on the top 10 or the not top 10 list. Cause some people may not want to bring the family because this is like their getaway from the family, but it could have gone either way on bringing the family to these events. And nothing wrong with that either. We all need a break from the family too. So, but you can bring the family, and we have lots of activities listed on the website, and even a family excursion, friends and family excursion on Saturday that is a designated like hike or whatever, float to inner tube trip down a river or something that's for the whole family. Speaking of kids, number 15 would have been kids and women's divisions. We are giving away a crescent kayak to each winner of the kids division, the youth division. So every event, some kid walks away with a brand new kayak. So that's pretty cool. And then the Women's Fishing Federation is sponsoring the women's division, and we're acknowledging the top female anglers as well, which is pretty cool. 16 is the day 2 dark horse. So I know, like I said, Zach from Dark Horse Tackle was on here earlier. And day 2 dark horse is the angler who makes the most leaps from the Friday after day 1, half day Friday, to day 2, which is very important to bring this up right here because it's a 5 fish limit. If you cannot fish Friday, you are a much greater advantage to win the day 2 dark horse, and you could still potentially win the entire thing because we all know it only takes sometimes an hour to hit the right spot and catch 5 big ones and win the whole thing. So you don't like the odds are, how many guys have you seen win a tournament where it's 9 a.m. and it's a 1-day tournament and somebody's already got 97 inches and you're like, well, this one's over. Well, that's usually how tournaments are won. So you don't need to be so discouraged if you can't make Friday because it's just 5 fish over the both days. You can win it all on Saturday. And if you miss Friday, you're at much better odds to win the day 2 dark horse, which is whoever moved up the most places from day 1 to day 2. And of course, if you're at 0 inches, you will move up the most if you jump into the top, 10 or whatever. So day 2 dark horse presented by Dark Horse Tackle. Joint events was another thing I had listed on number 17. Here, joint events are a lot of local clubs. I think every tournament will have local clubs doing a joint event with us, and we will put registration to those local club joint events on our registration page so we can support and promote those local clubs and give you guys out there just another opportunity to win more money and prizes at each event. And then number 18, music. So by Abby Abundanza and Jody Queen. Who doesn't want to hear Jody on the banjo, right? And Abby, a lot of people don't know Abby, also is a country music artist. So kind of like for his other, full-time gig. So Abby Abundanza and Jody Queen, both on the Z-Man team with me, good dudes. And they're going to be playing some of the music at some of the opening ceremonies or even closing ceremonies, along with other local bands that we're going to have play live music too. So, but you guys have any thoughts on that list there? Anything else you guys want to mention before we wrap up the first KAS live stream? All right, that's the clapping.
Good
huh?
job.
Yeah.
Good job, buddy.
It's a great list. I love it. And I love that Jody's going to be playing a banjo. Maybe he won't be giving away some of the secrets with Jeff Little because Jody has teamed up with Jeff a couple times to give away a bunch of secrets. So less secrets because he'll be busy playing music.
Distract him. No, I think he's going to be fishing some events. There could be some pretty big names that might fish an event or two here or there. But again, I think it's a cool thing when you see some big names that you recognize. You get to meet them. They might do a seminar. you get to, there's built-in time to, hang out with them and actually get to know them a little bit as well. So it'll be fun. I thank you guys so much for everything. And you're right. I mean, guys, we need a clapping soundbite. We need the drum roll soundbite. We need to improve our production quality here. But let's don't get too
for
polished.
the first one, you guys did fantastic. It's like it's just like pro level. You got little gizmos and things going across the bottom. I mean, come on, give yourself some credit.
That's true.
We need Ryan to make it through one of these for once.
Yeah, that's true.
He's now 0 for 4.
Yeah, one of these days Ryan will get, like you said, I think he'll be back pretty soon to what do you say, Missouri, to have some better internet. So maybe
we're actually fishing Sunday, I think.
Yeah, he'll be back in Missouri 17th. Is that right, Jake?
Yeah.
When you guys are doing it. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for listening, watching live with us, and all the comments. We had a lot of folks popping in or out. So thank you guys for everything. And now we got to decide, Billy, how are we gonna end these shows? See, that's the other thing you guys can help us with. How are we gonna end these shows? We need that, kind of like the intro. If we're still gonna do Who's Ready to Chase the Wild or something like that. I don't know. We need something to end it too. So
all right, everyone. Until the next adventure. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, there we go. That was good.
Yeah.
I like it. We'll workshop that. All right, guys.
Yeah. Adventure. We got to use the word adventure, though.
Yeah, for sure. Adventure's got to be in there for sure. All right, guys. We'll catch you at the next one. See you later.
Bye, everyone.
Fishing.
Bye.